Good morning, everybody. This is Judith Cope. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. It's another chilly morning here in St. Louis. I'm not complaining. I actually like my winters to feel like winter. It's just not my favorite season. I like fall. We had maybe like 2 weeks of fall weather. I'm not kidding you. Go from being super hot to your coat in like 2 weeks. But anyway, enough of that. I was just listening to Tom Bilyeu, who's just, I don't know. I remember when I used to like his podcast. I can't hardly listen to it now. I mean, I used to really like Impact Theory when he was just interviewing people and getting really interesting opinions and platforming people I never would have even heard of, and he used to give these really great introductions. And now everything's just the end of the world. AI is the worst. The housing market's about to collapse. But and so when I'm listening to him, I'm thinking, of course the housing market is collapsing. I'm not sure BlackRock knows what they're doing, buying up all these houses. That's fine. But we were always going to get to this point. Maybe not the financials, but everything was going to contract. I don't understand what people don't get about this. We don't have enough human beings alive right now to make up for the fact that boomers are leaving the job market, they're leaving the housing market, they're leaving the planet, and it's going to create a vacuum. We had the boom. Uh, in fact, I may have seen the guy on his show, Peter Zehan, who was talking about the collapse of everything we know just based off of our population issues. And that was like 3 or 4 years ago. I bought one or two of his books, and it's very logical. It's just math. It's just not enough of us. And right now, we're teetering on the edge because you've got all of these baby boomers who have businesses that their kids don't want and they can't sell them. They don't know what to do with them. There are people out there like Cody Sanchez. She's just buying up all these businesses because it's smart. I had a conversation with a friend of mine a few years ago. Her bug guy, an exterminator, he had a $2 million business, and he's like, I'm retiring, and I can't give this business away. Nobody I know wants to do it. They don't think it's sexy, but the joke's on them. I have a boat and a vacation house. I do really well. And he couldn't get rid of his business. So here's the thing. There's a group of people who have bought their last house. They have bought their last car. They have bought their last pickup truck. Now that money is about to be transferred to the medical system because these people are in their 70s and 80s and they either are sick or they're sick and they need to be housed somewhere else, or they're just going to go live in a senior community because they can't live by themselves anymore. And that is happening at an alarming rate because our population is suddenly super gray. This wasn't a problem 30 years ago, right? The boomers were what? 40 and 50. Everything looked great. They were making all this money and they were buying houses and putting kids through school and helping their families, buy houses. Everybody was doing great, you know, and now it's the end of the world. But this was always going to happen. I'm not sure why people are so surprised. And it doesn't mean that it has to be the end of the world. It's just a contraction. I don't know. Have you ever seen somebody have a baby? Have you ever had a baby? Contractions hurt. So, yeah, I mean, I get that people are concerned, but all of the stuff that you seem to be concerned about, it also seems to not take into consideration that these are wonderful opportunities. We're never going to be as big as we were. I mean, we might, but I think this is the end of the era of American dominance, and I think that's okay. I think we're going to uh, be a global competitor, of course, but this is happening all around the world. This isn't just an American issue. There are fewer people. That's why Elon Musk is constantly telling people to go make babies. That's why these crazy people are out here trying to put their sperm everywhere and make kids. these billionaires because they recognize their wealth is at risk because who's going to buy all their shit? Yeah. It's I don't get it. I don't understand how people aren't understanding this. If you go back 2 years ago, I said this on the podcast, and now the bigger issue is they're not all going to drop dead at the same time, right? You're going to have all these people who are going to clog up everything in terms of caregiving. Like last year, my mom was dying at this time. Oh, and this is the death anniversary for my dad. He was a character. He should have. Both of my parents were born in February and they both died in December, which is so weird. And my dad was such a summer beer barbecue guy. It was rough. But anyway, rest in peace to my pa. But my mom was dying at this time, and I wanted to put her in a facility. I didn't want to be the one having to medicate her and keep her, you know, basically medicate her to her transition. Um, and so when I went, I think this day, so it would have been the equivalent of yesterday, last year. I, my hospice nurse, that was my regular nurse, she came and I was like, she goes, this would be a good time to look into the hospice house. So I called the social worker, and that's when she got back to me, probably today, last year, and was like, yeah, and I could tell she was sort of like, our nurses make this suggestion, but they don't understand. So she basically said, yeah, uh, there are no beds right now for your mom. But also, if your mom lives longer than 5 days, she will incur a $500 a day bill every day. And you can apply for some sort of charity loan, whatever. And I was like, are you serious? First of all, I'm pissed off that there's no rooms. Second of all, I got to time her day. And of course, my mom lives 7 days after. So we would have created $1,000 bill. And I was like, this is so fucked up. And it is. It's just extremely fucked up healthcare system because it's very low on health and very low on care. And my hospice team was fantastic. They were great. I highly recommend them if you're in St. Louis. Mercy has a stellar hospice team. These women are compassionate, they're loving, they're kind. The equipment gets here quicker than you can blink your eye. The doctors, they have they're keyed into your doctor. They get everything you need. You can get your stuff delivered. It was awesome, but that doesn't mean it wasn't hard. And all of that is about to get what times 10 because you're gonna have so many more people needing these resources. For the last 20 years, we've had 10,000 people a day turning 65. So they're leaving offices, they're leaving jobs, they're leaving businesses, they're leaving the economy in a way that's noticeable. They're not buying. They're going to be spending their money on their care. And it's going to be a humongous transfer of wealth. The only thing that you can do is make sure you get your money and not have it go to a care facility. You know what I mean? Make sure your parents' finances are squared away. Make sure they understand, hey, you know, I want to be able to take care of you. You've probably made more money than me at this point. Can you help set up something so that we can take care of you? You've got to have these conversations. You just have to have them. It's not the end of the world. It's just the end of the world as we know it. Because it's always been so many robust Americans spending money, buying cars, buying houses, selling a house and building a new house. All the shit that we've done that we've taken for granted. People can't afford to do that now. Generationally, it's too expensive, but that doesn't mean it's over for you. It means you have to work with your family instead of just pretending like all of us can be independent. Let's work together as families and come up with strategies. If we put money in this fund here, can we save up enough over the next 10 years to be able to take care of mom and dad with ease? Have those conversations. You're getting ready to see each other at Christmas. Do it. Just do it. Makes no sense. It's not the end of the world. It's just a change. And will it be painful for some people? Absolutely. But will it be glorious for people who planned and prepared for this and been paying attention? Yes, because life is fucking short. Don't worry about shit you can't control and control the shit you can control. Right? And then keep it moving. God didn't put you here to be worried and scared and afraid and read all these headlines and be like, oh Lord. I mean, seriously, everybody's not right. One headline will say AI is going to be the end of the civilization, and the next headline, learn AI in 24 hours. Like what? Which one's right? Everybody's not right. You decide. You have discernment. Shedeur Sanders, obviously a very talented person, obviously a very polarizing figure, just like his father. But I didn't talk about it yesterday because I didn't actually see that game. That wasn't one of my games. But then to see that he got pulled out after that day that he was having, and they pulled him off the field with a chance to win the game, is I don't understand how people don't understand what's going on here. Kevin Stefanski hates this kid, and he hates what he represents, and he's gonna die on that hill. One or both of them will be out of Cleveland. Somebody's gonna trade for Shedeur. You know, every team needs a quarterback. You can there's not one team that can afford to go with the superstar quarterback only formula right now. Everybody gets hurt except for what Mahomes and I think even he got hurt a couple of times and they had a backup. I but there are teams right now who are down to their third backup. You know, people like Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, they're going to be gone. No one's going to give them any more shots. Uh, the game has passed them by. They're too old. Their prime is over. You know, Odell Beckham still thinks he's coming back. You're not coming back. Nobody wants a 30-something-year-old wide receiver with all the injuries you've had and you can't separate. No one needs that, right? No one, no one's, no coach is sitting there like, who can we get that's old and slow? Said no coach ever. You know, the game is more violent. The game is faster. You, these injuries people are sustaining. Daniel Jones wasn't even touched, and he just went down with a torn Achilles. Like, and that's one more year. Then you got to recover from that. As you get older, your body just doesn't recover. You know, and that's true for all of us. So I'm not sure what's going on, but Stefanski is either going to get fired or or Shador gets traded or both. I don't see that GM getting rid of Shador though. But Stefanski is terrified of this kid, and I'm not sure why. I'm guessing it's because of control, and I also think, you know, you can't control Shador. He's a rich kid. He was rich from NIL, and he grew up rich. So the mind games that coaches want to inflict on players, like you need this job, like he obviously can't coach someone who's not desperate. This man loves to play. He Shador could do anything. He could be anybody, but he wants to be an NFL player. And I don't think they're used to that. You can't motivate somebody who's not poor. You know, what do you say? Hey, you never had any money in your life. Are you gonna give up this job, the greatest job, playing the game you love? Da 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 da. You know, that doesn't mean anything to Shador because he's gonna go home. He's already driving a Bentley or something crazy. What did I see him get in? Was it a Maybach? Like this dude, he already got the good life. So you're just showing everybody you don't know how to coach him and you don't like him, and there's no reason for it. It does. It's not like he lacks talent. The kid is good, and he deserves a chance. He played well enough to show you that he should have been the first pick in the draft, and that these people just didn't like him. There's collusion there. So that's shameful. You know, last night the Philadelphia Eagles looked terrible. So here we go. The Chiefs look bad. The Eagles look bad. Uh, they look both those teams look super old overnight. And you know, Philadelphia has done amazing work, but I'm not sure. that they don't need to blow it up and start all over again. Not a complete rebuild, but there's something missing. Like their defense plays great in spurts, but then their offense looks weird. I mean, Saquon, of course, isn't having the year he had last year, but Jalen Hurts looks weird to me. I don't know if he is skittish. He doesn't seem to be as eager to run with the ball as he was last year and the years before. I don't know what's going on. He seems really brittle like squirmy back there. He's squirrely. He does not want to stay in the pocket for too long, and I'm not sure he sees all the reads. And I love Troy Aikman's laugh. I could listen to him laugh all the time. He just cracks up. And obviously, him and Joe Buck are best friends because they just crack each other up, and that's cool because Joe Buck is from St. Louis. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Football has been very weird this year. Like some weeks teams look like they're world beaters, and then the next week they shit the bed like right there. It's like you just put a turd right in the middle of the field. I don't understand. So that's very, very strange. The other thing on my mind this morning, what in the hell with this Warner Brothers deal? So listen, I like Warner Brothers to Netflix. It makes more sense to me. Now David Ellison, who's Larry Ellison's son, and Larry Ellison, of course, is the Oracle guy. And you all know Oracle started as a CIA spying software, so I'm pretty sure they still spy on us with it, which is explains how he's a billionaire and how his kids own movie studios. His daughter owns a studio too. Um, but yeah, it's full of David Ellison's deal is full of Saudi princes and which I just don't like the idea of that, and Jared Kushner. So like all of that, so clearly Trump's involved. Like that just sucks ass. I hate that an American movie studio cannot survive on its own, which I think is the biggest question. Like, why can't Warner Brothers be successful on its own? Why is all of a sudden Warner Brothers having to be absorbed by somebody? I don't like. I think it's weird that no one's asking that. But then the next question is, what is in the Saudis' interest so much that they have to own EA Sports and Warner Brothers? You know, and are you comfortable having that that kind of money have that kind of influence in American media? You know, it's obvious everything is for sale here, but I think for me, I'm just concerned that no one is asking why a studio can't be self-sufficient anymore. A studio is old and as storied as Warner Brothers. You know, it makes me excited because it means independent film has got to come back. And if you are a creator like me and you can line up your own financing, you can use studios as partners, not financiers. That would be huge. That gives you tons of leverage as a creative person, which is all I want. I don't want any more gatekeepers. I don't want anybody telling me what I can and cannot make and what I can and cannot do and what I can and cannot say in my movies. So I think it's about to get very, very interesting. But this hostile takeover nonsense, I these nepo babies, I don't get it. I'm not one, so maybe I just don't understand. But it seems like so many of these people will not be happy until they own everything. This global domination thing. Why would Saudi Arabia want so much control over our one of our storied institutions? It's very, very, very strange. There's something afoot here, and I definitely don't want Jared Kushner and a bunch of Saudis owning Warner Brothers. That just seems so not right. But the bigger question is, why can't Warner Brothers sustain itself anymore? What happened to the studio system? And why isn't anybody asking? I mean, maybe this is the inevitable end of it because it it was unsustainable, but also kind of evil. And right now, evil is being exposed in major ways, and people are waking up to the fact that we are actually in spiritual warfare. So We'll see how this goes. We'll see how it turns out. I know God wins, though. Have an amazing Tuesday. Be well, be safe. Enjoy this day.